Welcome to Ace's Tavern. We're taking a look at the games from Season 1. The episode's going to be structured like this. Stats, game time, wins, losses, etc. Overperforming and underperforming decks. Commander lessons I learned from this year. And then at the end, best moments from the season. So the first section is stats. There's definitely some things that surprised me. So let's jump right into it. 51 games played. This was every game I played this year. Full-length videos available on my channel for 45 of the games. Some of them were played in person. The plan is to eventually record the in-person games as well, but let's take a look at the stats. First up, answer to the question that I've been wondering. How long was the average game? Average game time, 1 hour, 26 minutes. This was longer than I expected, but still a reasonable amount of time to sit down and play a game. 15 of the 45 recorded games lasted an hour or less, and only 7 of the 45 games clocked in at over 2 hours, with 3 of those games lasting 3+ hours. Average game ending turn. My guess as I was calculating this was 9.3, but the actual number, 10.4. Keep in mind, almost all these games are played at the power level 6 to 7 range, so I guess I have more time than I thought. Or do I? The game is actually more likely to end on turn 9 than turn 10 or 11 combined, but a handful of games clocking in at 15 or more turns pulled this average up to where it sits. Shortest game. Turn 6. 19 minutes and 9 seconds. This was episode 10, but editing the video, I caught the guy cheating and setting his hand, which I highlighted in the story of the game, episode 10, if you're interested. So I'll also list the second shortest game, which was turn 7, 31 minutes. Earliest player elimination was turn 5. This was episode 33. This demonstrates why Soul Ring should probably be banned. I went turn 1 Soul Ring into Signet. Turn 2, Phoenix. Turn 3, The Immortal Sun. Turn 4, Cern Conrad. And turn 5, Maddening Cacophony, which killed a player. Turn 6, Eldritch Pact, which killed another player. Longest game. Episode 34. 3 hours and 16 minutes. This game featured 7 board wipes, and sometimes 3-hour games can feel like a slog, but in this one I had a blast. Although maybe that's just because I was playing my silver border deck. Now let's take a look at the win-loss records for the season. Quick note on this. There's a couple of ways to calculate placement. I do what I call strictly fourth, meaning if you get fourth, you are the first player eliminated by yourself. If 2 people are eliminated at once, both get third, etc. All right, let's take a look at my personal placement chart for this season. I'm the kind of person who doesn't build my decks very spiky, but plays very spiky. And this season, we came away with the wins to show for it. I'd hoped that over the course of 2023, I'll become a better Magic player, but I think this win rate will actually drop as it just seems inordinately high. I play to win, but I'm much more focused on the social aspect of the game. I used to have a philosophy that I was happy as long as I didn't get last. But the 2 games I got strictly fourth this season were actually 2 of the most fun games all season. One was with my silver border deck, the longest episode of the season I mentioned earlier, and we just laughed so much and had an absolute blast. The other game that I got fourth, I was piloting Volo, and the deck absolutely went off and the table killed me because they had to, which is what Commander's all about. I play to win, but I still don't care if I lose. The only losses that bother me are ones that I lost because I directly misplayed, which happened on episode 6, 29, and 32. I did have quite a few games where my opponent had me dead to rights, and I only won because they misplayed, so it evens out in the end, but those losses stick with me for some reason. Even now, I can recount each one in way more detail than it deserves. Now let's take a look at the placement rates of our other channel regulars. 80. 80's my brother. He's who I played 10,000 games of Magic with against growing up, mostly with him on Gruul and me on Dimir. 80 is an all-around monster. He builds great decks, he's great at playing the political game and great at threat assessment. He plays a lot of creature-based decks and he's very patient, and that makes it really hard to take him out. Just the way he plays and the way he builds his decks, he's really good at taking a strong opening hand and parlaying it into an overwhelming board presence. Very often, 80 just has more and bigger creatures than everyone else, and he's sitting pretty, and I'll have you looking at your hand like, damn, these value pieces are not going to help me. Even in games where he's mana screwed or has a bad draw, he has an uncanny ability to stick around and steal the game at the very end. And he put up some great numbers this year. I'd expect his success to carry over into Season 2. Crispy City Bum. Crispy started playing Commander 7 months ago, and he's certainly taken his lumps as he's learned the format, but he's one of the most skilled players at 60-card formats I've ever been around. And watching him really immerse himself in Commander, he's gotten so good in such a short period of time. I'm sure his 60-card experience helped with that, but he's gotten to the point where he's one of my go-to people for new card evaluation. When a card comes out I'm interested in, I look to Demo from EDH Deck Building, Joe Cherries from Nitpicking Nerds, O'Lowry from the Commander Smiths, Richard from MTG Goldfish, and Crispy. He's that good at evaluating cards, and that's translated into his deck building. He's been in the lab all of December and January, tuning his current decks, and he's ready to debut 3 new decks for Season 2 on the Tavern. And I've been through the deck lists. It's scary stuff. I'd bet on him to take a huge leap in terms of win rate in 2023. Top performing decks. Yuriko. Yuriko went a perfect 5-0 this season. I have this completely silly notion that somehow I've earned the right to play Yuriko because I played her not as top deck manipulation, but as a legit ninja tribal before Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, with my first version being posted online November 3rd, 2021. I just have so much fun playing this deck. It's not going anywhere. Sorry, opponents. I do keep depowering it, and the deck's last win of the season was by the skin of its teeth. WotC designers themselves have called Yuriko a broken design mistake. And it's an easy fix. Commander tax should apply to her Commander Ninjutsu, something I'm considering offering opponents in Season 2 to help me sleep at night. Speaking of broken design mistakes, partner. My Kodama East and Ikra Shidiki unsurprisingly performed well. 4 games, 3 wins, 1 second place. I absolutely adore this deck. It's got 23 pieces of ramp, 20 pieces of card draw, 20 pieces of removal. It's a super active deck that absolutely overwhelms you at the point of attack with creatures, and it's the perfect stompy deck to me. I really dislike tutors, and one of my favorite games of the year was this deck in episode 27 against another Kodama East deck who was constantly tutoring, and I just beat him into the turf. Rin Seri. Hey look, a fair deck. It's hard to explain why I love this deck so much. It essentially makes 1/1s, but Cat Dog Tribal is just amazing. And what started out as a pile of cheap cards has grown into a force, seeing 112 revisions on deck stats and only 13 cards remaining from my original logged version of the deck. It's still really not that powerful. I definitely lucked into some of these wins. Underperforming decks. Phoenix Mill. This is my second favorite deck. After an epic Rise of the Dark Realms victory in the first episode ever on my channel, Phoenix did not win a game for the rest of the year. There's a couple reasons for this. One, Mill is not great in Commander. 100 cards is too many without combos. There's not very much card support for Mill, strangely enough. Milling a single opponent, while viable in Commander, is problematic for so many reasons that I'll get into when I do my deck tech. And when it comes to cards that mill the entire table, options are incredibly sparse. As a Dimir Mill connoisseur, I'd rank Ruin Crab as the 8th best card for milling all opponents. And it's incredibly slow in comparison to what other archetypes are doing, and I've cut it. But there's the other problem. Non-combo mill is trying to do 2 things. I need to mill, and then I need to capitalize on the mill. A deck that's trying to do 2 things puts you in a terrible spot hypergeometrically. In comparison to my Kodama deck, Phoenix has 7 less pieces of removal, 5 less pieces of ramp, 2 less pieces of card draw. It needs more lands, it needs more board wipes, it needs more protection, but it can't because I've cut everything down to bare bones because I'm trying to squeeze in a whole extra section. Decks that do 2 things are problematic, and as a generalized extension of this idea, sub-themes are often a bad idea. With 100 cards and the variance that brings, you really want to be focused on one thing. If you look at episode 33, which I talked about earlier, I pulled almost the best possible hand for this mill deck. Sol Ring to Signet, I eliminated one player on turn 5 and then another player on turn 6. And then I lost. While I'm milling the whole table, the efficiency of my cards takes a major hit once the game drops to 1-on-1. Another thing, mill is also underplayed in Commander, probably because it's a tough way to earn a cookie. Command Zone provides stats on 316 games, showing that mill is an extremely rare way to be eliminated from a game. And I'm telling you, when I play mill, I get targeted by my opponents. They blow up random value pieces of mine and just beat me into the dust without fail. And I really think this is partially because mill is underplayed. People's threat assessment goes off because they aren't familiar with the full mill toolbox and what I'm actually capable of. And that uncertainty leads them to having to kill you. Another thing I've noticed is that people hate seeing their favorite cards put into the graveyard. They shouldn't, but many decks don't run enough recursion. If I mill each opponent for 14, I shouldn't be getting beaten to a pulp. Stop targeting mill players. This is a short version. Actually, I have a lot more detail I'd love to get into, but I'll spare everyone. Okay. The other deck I want to highlight here as being underperforming is my Tiamat Elemental Dragons deck, also known as TTT, Tiamat Treasure Tokens. Which that brings me nicely to my next section on things I learned this year. Something happened with my Tiamat deck that was unique from a deck building perspective. In the process of refining and upgrading this deck over the course of 2022, the deck got worse, to the point where after huge flops in episodes 46 and 47, filmed in December 22, I had to admit that the deck had gotten too far away from what I was trying to do, and it wasn't even functional anymore. Let's hop back a bit to the year 2000 when I was introduced to Magic. One of the people in my initial play group was my brother's friend Jason, who had this awesome deck with all these cool big dragons. But I saw him get crushed like 1,000 times. It wasn't good. 60 card was all about speed, and a big dragon deck wasn't viable. But he didn't care. He was just happy to slap down big dragons, and he thought the deck was cool. I thought it was cool too, and wanted to build one. But I'm a Spike, and I knew my heart couldn't handle that many losses. He's a better man than me. So coming from back then, before there was decent mana fixing, the idea that I could run a 5-color dragon deck and it's actually powerful is just so cool. I think everyone who played back then, you owe it to yourself, build a 5-color dragon deck. So the D&D set dropped, I pulled a foil Tiamat, I threw together a 5-color dragon deck with the other legendary dragons from the set. I had no fetches or shocks or triomes, and I was running bad cards like Archway Commons. But the deck worked well, it was hyper-focused on ramping the Tiamat. I actually ran this graphic back in January of 2022, which was the last time Tiamat won a game. This version of the deck had already been around 5 months and seen 89 revisions, and as I continued to tweak the deck throughout the year, adding fetches and shocks and more removal, the more Commander I play, the more removal I want to play. I had to cut back on ramp and other sections all the way until the flops in episodes 46 and 47, which took place 2 months ago, December 2022. The deck had lost so much ramp, and even though the amount of ramp was still consistent with my other decks, and I was running much better cards in the deck, I had to admit it just wasn't working. I had lost sight of the ultimate goal of just powering out Tiamat. So this was a big lesson for me as a deck builder. I was holding all the removal and stuff I needed in my hands, but I was somewhat powerless. All my other decks have been improving, but this one got worse. So I did a complete rebuild, and I'm very happy and excited to debut the new version 198 in Season 2. The deck now only has 2 pieces of removal, which I hate, but because I'm doing the treasure sub-theme, I had to let go of my insistence of cramming every single deck with tons of interaction. This deck can win with dragons, and should someone play something to completely shut that off, I have 6 other win cons involving treasure tokens. Depowering decks. I'm on record saying Ristic Study is my favorite card, and you'd have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. Still true, but I've cut it from most of my decks. I've also cut Sol Ring from 14 of my 21 decks, and Arcane Signet from 13 of 21. I'm cutting Teferi's Protection. I used to have Dockside in 8 decks, now it's in 1. I'm wholesale rejecting the notion of auto-includes. I need a reason to run these cards. I really resonate with the professor when he said, I don't take it easy on my opponents with how I play. I take it easy on them with how I build my deck. Power creep is speeding everything up, but I also think it's widening the gap between power levels. And I've actually come to a clearer understanding of the age-old question. What exactly is a power level 7? 7 is my favorite zone to play. It's competitive and optimized, but players are in agreement that they're not going to try to break the format too badly. But what exactly constitutes too badly is nebulous. We've had a lot of episodes this year where people bring a power level 8 or higher deck into our 5 to 7 room and just mop the floor with everyone. And it's really salt-inducing, and it's an ongoing problem. I've been brainstorming ways to fix this, looking to the future of our format. So I'll probably release a long episode on this later in the year once I've developed my ideas a bit more, which brings me to my next section, observations. One last note I couldn't find anywhere else to fit in. I've caught a lot of cheating in rewatching and editing games. A lot. Keep a close eye on the boards on Spell Table, guys. I know it sucks, but it's where we're at. And to you others, stop fucking cheating. Damn. Another thing, and I'm sure this doesn't come as a surprise to many of you, but in rewatching games, I've noticed the amount of times that players miss their own triggers is very high. It's not surprising to me that people miss triggers. I saw it happen a lot in game, but rewatching, there's even more than I thought. And what was surprising to me is how many triggers I missed. If you'd asked me before the season started, I would have said that I almost never miss my own triggers. And that's just not true. I'm shocked at the amount of triggers I've missed this season. Probably something like an average of 1 every single game. So I've developed a new system for not missing triggers. I think sometimes we get so caught up in trying to play our decks optimally that we put 90% of our brain power into that and overlook a crucial part about being a good pilot, which is to not miss triggers you already have on board. The future of the channel. I'm going to continue posting every game. And while I really enjoyed making the story of the game recaps, the sheer amount of editing required is prohibitive for me as a single dad who works. So the story of the game will return when I can afford to bring someone on to edit, which could be a while, but that's the plan. I'm putting together a team of 4 for a Commander podcast for new card evaluation. I know there's room for this in the space because I'm always searching for different opinions on cards, and I'm hungry for more content myself. And I think a 4-person card evaluation crew provides more back and forth, and it's really interesting to see the ideas bounce off each other and evolve your understanding of the card. Regular stream times. Last year, I got on and streamed whenever I could, which makes it hard for people to tune in and watch because they have no idea when you'll be on. So I'll be putting together regular stream times, which will be announced by as soon as I get them. I had 51 games in 2022, and I won at least 150 in 2023. I need more Commander in my life, and I really want to get everyone playing on a face cam so we can see the laughs and reactions and whatnot. And that's it. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. If you made it this far into the video, I know we've only got 33 right now, but I feel strangely optimistic about the future of the channel. 2023, let's get it. Let's end off with some of the best moments from Season 1.
That's you fucked up. You fucked up. You thought that.
Fuck that. That's not how that card works. I couldn't regenerate it.
You don't get to go get it.
Welcome to
Ace's Tavern.
Story of the Game, the place Eddie Murphy affectionately refers to as the Boom Boom Room. The ideas contained may be half-baked, but they're never stodgy or claggy, and if they don't make you laugh, I will eat my hat. This episode definitely features some salty pianos, along with some jaw-dropping plays, including one that I referred to at the time as the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. No more ado, let's do it.
Yeah. Christ.
Are you gonna kill him?
Just play.
All right, we have a new target.
Yeah.
And I apologize for what I'm doing right here.
I'm going crazy. My commander's dead again.
Pay to keep your word.
Are you like a magician or?
If there's any way we can kill him before he gets back around to him, I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, bullshit. Lifelink. Lifelink's always been bullshit.
Nah, there's no alliances.
No, I don't like anything that starts with rampaging.
So maybe don't kill me.
I owe lots of people lots of attacks.
It is getting salty. Can you hear it? Oh, sad days.
My first land from the graveyard,
This is
that'll
gross
get me.
what's happening right now.
Hey, you're up.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's why he was waiting.
Okay.
You were.
Crusade
Hold on.
Government.
No.
This is the end. What do you got up your sleeves? Question.
It's Tom Cruise.
Keanu Reeves-ish.
It's Matt Damon with long hair.
response to you casting Tiamat, I'm going to sneak attack out an opposition agent.
Oh,
Okay.
that is brutal.
So I get to look through your library for 5 dragon cards, exile them, and then I can play them, but I have to play them during my turn, and I have to pay the mana cost for them, so it's a whole thing.
When you play Shamanic Revelation.
Oh, I missed that. It shouldn't matter. I'll still win.
No, you needed that life because you made the colossal error of tapping your Bird of Paradise for mana.
Birds.
Huh?
Birds of Paradise. You can see buddy birds in the background.
Only on the old art? Whatever, man. Listen, you misplayed. You're dead.
Oh, I'm dead. You're the one who's a disembodied voice. More like 80s dead. Watch and learn, voice.
Dragon Broodmother.
Yeah, so I died.
And because... Holy shit!
You just won that.
I won that game, dude. I was so weak.
On your upkeep, you have to sacrifice a creature.
I'm also going to go ahead and tap 1 on that and play Rapid Hybridization on Children.
What the fuck? Why me?
I don't want to discard a creature.
He's got a Bruinar that's much... Whatever.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Our salty goose took the coward's way out. That makes this player, Liliana's prodigal child, our first induction to Ace's no-no list.
Liliana's prodigal child is henceforth banned from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive the blood from Episode 8's hand.
My punishment is too great to endure. You're driving me off the land. I'll be a homeless wanderer of the earth. Whoever finds me will just leave the game or target me.
That's a great idea. Alright then. Anyone who targets you will be rewarded 7 times as much. Wait until my 13 subscribers get a hold of this. Good luck on Spell Table.
Oh no!
Frustrated with these sour grapes, I ended the stream and began preparations for a peaceful sleep, only to spot a bottle of 2022 Barefoot Pinot Noir smiling back at me from the corner of my suddenly icy apartment. Now Brunoir wasn't the only French bastion beckoning me to stave off my slumber and return to the battlefield.
No problem. I'm randomized 3 times. 1, 2, 3.
Me too, bro. So let's have it out.
All of your equipment.
That's so, dude, I need to put that in here. That's so good.
Tap my kind, basically tap everything. Let's play Illinois Crosses.
How much are you tapping?
I don't know. It's out of green, so we get 1x, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
What's your commander?
10, 11.
10,
And then I'm going to untap my commander and cast it again. So that's 12, 13.
Alright, I'm gonna tap 2 blue mana, and I'm gonna counter spell, Dry Disruption, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1.
I'll tap my commander again now.
You already tapped them twice.
Alright, I guess I don't get to play him at all. I'm done. I mean, seriously.
That's why you're keeping it? Kill him. I just told him to take that out of his deck. We're gonna kill you, bro. I'm telling you, we're gonna kill you. And they're gonna see it. Bro, Niv is it? Bro, talk to me. What's going on? No, I'm down to play against it. Just try not to wipe all my elves unless I'm really getting out of hand. I believe you. I believe you, but it's scary. Yeah, you're just trying to get me shaking in my boots and it worked. You might see me drop some gems here. Have you all teary-eyed. Lathril is a thorn in my fucking side. And she's a scar of the good native Golgari.
Welcome to Ace's Tavern. Story of the game. Big facts. These edited Commander games are fire. They're dead ass litty, no cap. We about to throw hands and someone gonna be pressed and take a big L. My OBS is sus and didn't record my opponent's voices, only mine. And it just hit different, had me in my feels. But that's alright, young boy still extra. And I'm finna make a short episode and just keep it moving. You know the vibes, bruh.
Tap it, pay the life.
It's one of my favorite moments from the early game to crack me up. Crispy cracks a fetch land and starts searching off the top.
So I just gotta clean that out. I can use that. Boom, I'm ready to go.
What are you looking for? Is that a fetch land?
I'm looking for a swamp. Apparently I'm a highway. Yo, I'm glad I got a shuffle this now.
Bro, you gotta.
Jesus.
Well, you gotta just flip your deck upside down. But this is great. This is very theatrical.
At this point, yeah.
Before coronavirus, before Commander, before Magic the Gathering, before all of written history, before Earth, before the fabric of space and time, there was but a skull clamp, and it gave birth to God himself. He said it is good, and he created the first sliver!
Thank you! Funny story, he was actually trying to create silver, and there was a typo.
Green. So I'm going to tap 4 mana, and I'm going to Armageddon. Destroy all lands.
Alright, I am going to...
You're gonna ask for permission.
Yeah, I would play land first.
Resurrection. Untap all creatures and gain control of them till the end of turn. They gain haste.
Ah! No!
I'm gonna swing it.
Oh no! Alright, that's a lot of damage.
I'm gonna swing it all at you.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Oh man, why couldn't I keep my homeward path? I will go for next time.
Oh wow, okay. But let's just see what you get. Because this is gonna be impossible for camera, so I'll just get it. Alright, Obsidian. Soul Appendant. That's okay. Johnny's Primate, Twilight Prophet, Divinity of Pride, Soul Warden, Bona, Regal Bloodlord, Suture Priest.
Amazing.
Vestropa Guildmage, Indulging Patrician, Vito, Sun Titan, Bloodthirsty Aerialist, Fiendslayer Paladin, Thorin, Rock's Faithbender.
So he'll mill you out with your own cards.
And then Archangel of Food, and you can trigger it because of the Soul's Attendant, Soul Warden, and the Suture Priest, that you can have like 3 counters per creature when they enter the battlefield, and then you would have been able to get me, because Rock's Familiar doubles it, so Divinity probably would have been big enough, you would have had it.
And here you've just been able to mill your whole deck with your own cards.
Unless I drew a board wipe next card. Cosmos was like, nope.
The toughness of a creature that I played on any given turn.
The power? The power.
The power, I'm sorry.
I've always wanted to date a girl named The Power.
The Power?
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
But Commander isn't about winning. I'm fine with being number 2. Isn't that right, William Riker?
Ready a collision course with the Borg ship.
Oh, I gotta go. It's the Borg again.
I'm just that good at, politicking and everything.
Oh, wow, man.
Ace's Tavern.
Ace! You son of a bitch. You fucking bastard. Oh my god! That's fucked. That's so fucked.
Holy shit.
Holy fuck.
That's very pretty. I am incredibly dead.
This is my first game against this new Shrine Commander, this so-called Ghost Shintai of Life's Origin. But don't let the flowery name and whimsical art fool you. This commander is a dirty thief, a 2-bit trickster who's cheated his way into 5C. I muffle a soft gag as I see him drop Enchantress elements into play, knowing that if he tutors, I'll be experiencing today's sushi from the Cincinnati airport all over again.
Farewell. Uh-oh. Shit.
He had all the shrines, he thought he was fine. He had all the slivers, thought they could deliver. You know that they flying. And 80 was playing the groove, playing preachers is pretty cool. But the farewell feature is pretty too. No graveyard leaving them pretty blue. Thought Ace was behind, but it's really you. With a brand new car, with a pretty cat dogs all raw, what they really are. Farewell to them all as they fall and they fall and they fall. Last call like I'm in the bar. Farewell. 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 See you later, Pop. See you later.
Alright, my turn?